Independence Day exploding building style opening credits.
Became a need for all mankind.
Yeah, the aliens don't care. REM is always a win, especially when it's used for apocalypse shadowing. Did you know the president's daughter was Anne from Arrested Development?
President Whitmore's approval ratings have slipped below 40%.
I'll talk about this more in the end, but each of our characters has a simple, straightforward storyline that gets resolved by the end. This is the setup for President Whitmore's. The entire country thinks he's a
wimp.
What a shot that gives us a rough scale of the mothership. Impressive. Our thinker. Jeff Goldblum is always a win.
Checkmate.
Chess metaphors are prevalent throughout this movie, and this is where it starts. It's something that really makes this film easier to digest and makes us feel like we're in the inner circle whenever it comes up. Ready? Independence Day is 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Young, bizarro Keanu Reeves watches a clip of The Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake of which the real Keanu Reeves would later star in, who starred in The Matrix with Lawrence Fishburne, who was in Mystic River with Kevin Bacon. Done. Or I guess this guy was in Apollo 13 with Kevin Bacon. But that's not nearly as much fun. Here's our character arc set up for Russell. He's an alcoholic pilot who constantly lets his kids down. So here's a stretch of a win. This movie inspired a CinemaSins video, right? So now every time I see these white flashes, I hear Jeremy's reverbed voice in my head. Go rewatch to see what I mean. So Independence Day gets a half win and CinemaSins gets a half win, to be tallied at a later date. And since I hate half wins, here's another half win for this awesome spaceship separation. I gotta give Emmerich some credit on the visualization of these ships entering our atmosphere. And I'll be honest, I had no clue what was happening at 12 years old, but that doesn't make it any less of an attempt at scientific accuracy. They did such a great job of making us feel small and insignificant. No communication, no threats. They just set up over our monuments and population centers and get ready to exterminate us. Super chilling.
It's like in chess. First you strategically position your pieces, then when the timing's right, you strike.
Bringing it back to the chess analogy so we all know what's going on. Side note, Jeff Goldblum was an environmentalist before it was trendy. Rides a bike, cares about the earth, recycles, wears flannel? Wait, did he invent the hipster?
Tell you the truth, I don't want you in any one of those cities.
I get it. He just wants to make sure that if he dies, Laura Roslin will become president. Here's Steven's setup for wanting to join NASA and fly in space. To be fair, who wouldn't be confused by this beautiful, blinding, bluish-white light? Had they opened up with red lights, I'm sure everyone would have known to run away. Well played, aliens. Well played.
Time's up.
Ugh, what a score! And who better to deliver that line? Look at those mid-90s particle beam effects. Does it get any better? Now we get to the reason that everybody left their 4th of July barbecues to go see this movie. The explosions. My goodness, the explosions. Multiple different camera crews, full-scale miniature city streets hanging vertically from scaffolding mixed with the best CGI 1996 had to offer, a 14-foot wide 12-scale model of the White House they built just to blow up, and it all holds up. They did it right. And they were not afraid to kill some people. Lots and lots of people. Sort of puts the Man of Steel in perspective, doesn't it? What a shot. The aftermath score is heart-wrenching and really sets the stage for the tragedy that just happened. Ooh, that's a lot of bad guys. Another set piece where we think to ourselves, all right, time for a little oh crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Never mind. You're gonna make us yearn for that finale, aren't you, Emmerich? This chase scene through the crater has always been one of my favorites. White knuckle fun. Thank goodness for Spooner's bionic legs.
Welcome to Earth.
And cinema as we know it would never be the same.
All you need is love. John Lennon, smart man, shot in the back, very sad.
British musician lessons.
You'll all be dead now if it wasn't my David.
Defending your son.
That's not entirely accurate.
What? Which part?
And what the hell is that smell?
Catharsis. So clean. Soothes me.
Mr. President.
Data got his emotion chip back. They really did these aliens right. Just good old-fashioned, slimy, big head, tentacled aliens. And so easy to hate. Such a perfect villain for this patriotism, wish fulfillment explosion fest.
They're like locusts. After they've consumed every natural resource, they move on.
Wait, was this a commentary about humans? Are we the locusts? This scene, the chemistry between these two, though I give most of the credit to Goldblum, is superb. I love the way he slams the bottle down as if they've had this argument a dozen times.
Just tell him I hit you.
Self-confidence. Hugging.
There's nothing we can do for her.
Just get Boomer's baby's blood. She'll be fine.
The doctors think that you're gonna be just fine.
And man, is he a bad liar. And that's a win, because lying is wrong. Were these force fields updated for the Blu-ray? Anyone know? I couldn't find anything about it. If they weren't, they are super impressive CGI for 96. Alright everyone, grab onto your seats, hats, horses? I don't know, there's an idiom in there somewhere. But I'm about to do that thing I do where I defend the almost indefensible. So here's the thing about the virus. David's genius is never fully defined. He decoded the countdown timer when none of the world's greatest minds, well, at least America's, even thought to look in the satellite signal. It's alluded that he could have done anything with his life as a man who
Spent 8 years in MIT.
so we're potentially looking at Einstein reincarnated here. It's totally believable that he's capable of some impressive things. Now, I didn't use the extended version of this movie because it's not the one we all know and love. But there's a deleted scene where Goldblum mentions that he recognizes the language the aliens were using, which ends up being binary, and he basically switches the ones and zeros, and voila! And if you consider that in order for the aliens to relay off our satellites, they would have had to either create a compatible OS or have jerry-rigged something to interface, why wouldn't there have been reverse compatibility? Did I do it? Did I win?
Gave it a cold.
And that cringeworthy line is just for us computer illiterate folks, so we know what's up. I know, kids, hard to believe only 20 years ago people didn't really know much about hacking and viruses. We were all just stoked to hear you've got mail. Whatever, the Americans are the ones that bring everyone together, blah blah blah, but hey, all these different countries coming together to fight a common enemy is a win. Yay, unity!
I'm fly. I'm pilot. I'm pilot. I'm pilot. I'm pilot.
Sickness and in health.
Reconciliation.
We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore.
Bill Pullman will go down in history as delivering one of the best speeches of all time. Braveheart, Miracle, Gladiator, Kristen Stewart's speech in Snow White, you know, all the greats.
Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
And all jokes aside, he freaking nailed it.
Good morning, Dave.
Ha! Because his name is David. And the guy Hal almost murdered was named Dave.
Shaky, huh? I was gonna do this the whole way.
Just make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their upright and locked position.
Yeah. Is it?
On paper, you might think they tried to do too much in this movie. Up until this point, the pacing and progression of this movie has been great. And now for our last act, they throw in an odd couple buddy cop duo? With less talented actors, it may have fallen on its face. But these two make it work so well. It makes me a little sad Smith didn't want to be involved in the sequel. We take it for granted now, but our first look at the alien hive is unique and its size is staggering. Here's something I missed as a kid. These are ground troops. Lots and lots of ground troops. Back to the indefensible. There was no need for a wireless connection. Once they docked with the mothership, they had a hardline connection since David is connected to the ship. I win, right? What were we playing? The work that went into this final firefight is extremely evident and looks amazingly realistic.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. President!
Redemption.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
And self-sacrifice. And another epic explosion. America! Humanity! Humanity!
What do you think?
Checkmate.
Full circle on our chess analogy. One last chase scene and a narrow escape to keep our blood pumping through the finale. Maverick and Goose ain't got nothing on Hiller and Levinson. Full side note, Will Smith's actual code name is Eagle. Who knew? Now let your mind drift back to 1996. Will Smith had just stepped off his Bel Air throne, we had just barely started understanding what Jeff Goldblum's Chaos Theory speech was all about, and Roland Emmerich hadn't yet opened the Pandora's box that is the disaster event movie. Stargate dealt with a few similar ideas like Other Planets, but Independence Day rebooted the idea of disaster movies from the 70s like Earthquake and Towering Inferno. And man, was this a great start. Some of the best and most realistic explosions we'd ever seen that hold up pretty well by today's standards. One of the best call-to-action speeches ever delivered by Bill Pullman. A few heartwarming moments, sequences that stick with you after the credits, and a crapload that make you pump your fists and start reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Some well-thought-out, though straightforward, side stories that don't detract from the overall action and plot. And as I already said, every one of our main characters' plot lines is wrapped up nice and neat. Randy Quaid is redeemed in his children's eyes through his sacrifice. The president proves what kind of man he is and shuts down his detractors. Stephen and David save the world and marry/reunite with their ladies, respectively, and Stephen finally gets to fly in space. An American wish fulfillment movie if there ever was one. Somehow Emmerich makes us forget about the tens, hundreds of thousands of people killed in the attacks. Well, the dog made it, so I'm feeling good. If Sucker Punch is about women taking the power back, Independence Day is about men being men. Never flown an alien spacecraft before? Volunteers. Get sick in airplanes? Hitches a ride into outer space. President of the United States? Kills some space invaders with a fighter jet. Drunk 24/7? Drinks coffee. Why do all these things? Because we're men. Because diplomacy is for pansies.
Let's nuke the bastards.
While our stripper single mom warms the heart by saving some people, the First Lady was unfortunately reduced to calling her husband a
Liar. Liar. Liar.
Point is, the film may not have set up too many female role models, but every little boy started punching their friends in the heads and yelling,
Welcome to Earth.
Probably some girls too, I just didn't know any. It's a classic and a class of its own. Is it the 4th of July already? Time to go reminisce about the 90s and gaze upon the majesty that is Jeff Goldblum's chest hair. Which, to be fair, would also include Jurassic Park. Also this line.
Must go faster. Must go faster. Must go faster.
Really, the only thing this movie is missing was a good old bark laugh.
That's right! That's right! Get off! Get off! That's what you get!